I'm currently reading Adam Grant's Originals, and there the third chapter is all about bringing about change in an organization. And there are a few pretty important points if you want to bring about change without messing up your relationships with your co-workers. And in order to accomplish that, Grant starts by distinguishing between two similar but crucially different terms. He talks about power and status. And in his definition, power is your ability to exercise control, to make things happen through authority. Power usually comes from having a position. Because you have a certain position, you now have the right to make choices, to make decisions, and to give commandments. Whereas status is all about being respected, being admired, and that cannot be given to a person. That's something which he has to earn. And that's the crucial point here. Whenever people try to exercise power without having enough status, they are perceived as arrogant, self-serving, and just genuinely kind of nasty. Because we perceive that they want to force something upon us without really being in a position where we would welcome this from them. And for this reason, it's really important that before we try to bring about a major change in the organization, we work on establishing our status. Now, as mentioned, status is something which has to be earned. And status is earned through your real contributions to the organization. It's earned through displaying your positive character traits, such as generosity, caring for others' well-being, and by and large, just acting like a true gentleman would. People need to see that you are somebody who they look up to, who they can consider as a role model. And this is what gives your words some weight. This enables you to bring to the table some critical feedback and present it in a way which is accepted and which won't ruin your relationships with others. Erwin Hollander defines a really important term. He talks about idiosyncrasy credits. And that is very closely correlated with status. And what he observes is that wherever people try to deviate from the norms of the group, how this is perceived is very much dependent on the status that the person is having. If the person has relatively low status and tries to deviate from the norms or doing something which is not considered to be acceptable, this ends up lowering their status. They are perceived as somebody who can't fit in, who probably isn't classy enough, who just doesn't fit into this proper place. Whereas if somebody who has relatively high status tries to do the same thing, this ends up actually increasing their status, because now this is perceived as a display of leadership, confidence, ability to lead, to innovate, to bring something novel to the table. And these all are seen as positive character traits. There is this famous experiment where you show somebody pictures of two people. One of them is wearing a proper suit. The other one is wearing like a business casual outfit. And you ask them to guess which of them would be the professor and who of them would be the assistant. And usually people think that the one who is dressed more formally is the assistant, and the one dressed more casually would be the professor. And that's exactly because we assume that the professor has earned enough idiosyncrasy credits to be able to deviate from the norms, to wear whatever he wants, because he has the status. However, if you have a bigger group of people and maybe most of them are dressed quite casually and one of them is dressed a little bit more formally, usually you would assume that the one dressed more formally is the leader of the group, because it looks he is like more properly fitting in. So how the deviations from the norms are perceived depends very much on how much status is attributed to the person. This all is very similar to what I'm teaching in my Buddhist psychology classes, where under talking about the communication skills, one thing I really highlight over and over again is that in order to deliver some critical feedback to somebody, you have to earn enough respect first. I like the analogy that whenever you praise somebody or you rejoice in them or you bring up something positive about them, it is as if you would be making a payment onto a virtual bank account, so that whenever you need to now deliver some critical feedback, you have enough funds to withdraw. And if you try to make the same feedback, which could totally be legitimate, valid, useful, and maybe even like delivered with the best intention, if you don't have enough cash on your account, your feedback is not heard. It is seen as something like attacking, something arrogant, something unpleasant, even if you really had a good point to be made. So you have to earn the respect. You have to establish this strong mutual relationship first. And only once this channel has been opened, you are able to deliver some feedback through the channel. So yeah, that's the main point I wanted to make today. I hope you all can really establish your status, establish your respect, your good relationships with people, so that when the right day comes and you need to deliver some critical feedback, you need to lead a change in the organization, you have enough status, enough respect to do it in a way which is heard, which is impactful, and which makes your organization a better place. That's all from me today. Hope to have you back for more tips from Adam Grant's Originals.